Alright guys, well we are back in the field today. Over the weekend we got 1 inch to 2 inches of rain depending on the spot. So the planter's running again. This morning I had to go out. We caught some wire with a couple of the row units, so I had to come dig that out. And I'm hauling seed, and maybe today we can get some corn finally in the ground. Alright, back at the shop now. I have to go and unload some Milo from one of our elevators. We got a little mix up in the pit, so now time for a little super trucking. Well, got the old Purple Pete put back in line, moved around a little grain, and I think now we're gonna load up the seed tender, grab a few parts, and head back out to the planter. Got an early start this morning. I have the fertilizer trailer hooked up now. I'm gonna head out and fill up the planter. It got late on us yesterday, so we got about 550 acres done yesterday, so hopefully today will be either as good or better. But I'll run out to the planter early this morning and top it off, and then I'll run back to the shop and grab some seed, and then he should be good to go for a while, and then we will see where this day takes us. So just got to the planter. I'm gonna hook up and start filling. This is our planter. We run a DB90, which is a 36 row, 90 foot wide. This is the 2015 model. This is new to us this year. We've always run a 24, but we finally upgraded to do a 36 row. We run the precision boxes with Ag Leader row clutches, and then we have the aftermarket Yetter knob closing wheels, and then this is where we put our fertilizer on. All we do is we just have a drip hose running out the back right before the drag chain. That's what we do. It's not the most high-tech way of putting it in the soil, but all we're putting on is about 5 gallons of 1034O, which is what I'm going to be filling now. So really there's not a whole lot that needs to be incorporated. It's just kind of a dose of phosphorus right on top of the soil that kind of soaks down whenever the seed starts germinating. That way it can get to it right away. So I'll go ahead and get filling. That was pretty uneventful. All I had to put in was 50 gallons because that's all he needs to finish up the field, and then we'll be moving to another field, and that one does not call for any fertilizer, so we don't want to overfill the tank and then just have to haul around that extra weight on our sand. But so I'm pumping this fertilizer through the hose in the back, and then it goes up along the planter to that front tank up there. That's a 700 gallon tank, I believe, mounted on the drawbar or on the toolbar. And that from there, that goes back into this pump through the same line. This pump is a Surefire Ag hydraulically driven pump. We have 2-section control, which is those 2 valves there. This one controls the right side, this is the left side of the planter. That way if you do overlap 18 rows, it'll shut off at least 18, that way you aren't double fertilizing. It's a pretty simple setup. We've had it on our last planter and we really like it. They have a very good product. So from there it comes down into these, which these are our orifices. Either hose runs to the same row unit through this black tube and out the back. Depending on how much we put on, we have to open up another orifice or switch orifices to a bigger hose or a smaller hose, just depending on our flow or our pressure on what we want it to be. Whenever I talk about our fertilizer, which is a 1034O. What 1034O is fertilizer is made up of 3 parts: your nitrogen, phosphorus, and your potassium, and each number represents a percentage of that nutrient in the blend that you're using. So like a 1034O is 10% nitrogen, 34% phosphorus, and 0% potassium. There's all sorts of blends of fertilizer. Anhydrous is 8200. There's UAN, winter, summer. There's urea, MAP, DAP, AP. There's all sorts of fertilizers. And what these are for is you go through and soil sample, figure out what your soil needs to produce your yield goal, and then you judge the most cost-efficient way to get those nutrients on at one time, and that's it. So for some people, they have to put on dry because they need more of the potassium, more of the phosphorus. People put on a lot of nitrogen depending on if you're trying to raise high yields or not, or what you're doing. For us, we don't raise very high yields down here, so our total of fertilizer that we put in is not very much. Just depending from year to year, kind of what the year's looking like, is that's how we judge what we put on. But every winter we go through and we soil sample our ground, and from there, then that's how we determine what we put on, of how much, if we do the 10-34-0 or if it's nitrogen or what it is. I highly encourage soil sampling versus just shooting in the dark, throwing on some fertilizer, calling it good, throwing on nitrogen, whatever it is. For us, a lot of fields, before we soil sample, we would always just put on 5 gallons, 10 gallons of starter. Well, now that we're soil sampling it every year, we realize some fields don't even need it. Some fields we soil sample, it doesn't call for any nitrogen, no phosphorus, so that means all of our fertilizer inputs for that whole field are nothing, just because it doesn't call for anything for our yield goal. So it basically pays for itself. The soil sample does cost money to send it in and to get it tested, but if you know that you don't have to put any on, you just save yourself a lot of money right there. So highly promote the soil sample. I think I'm going back to the shop right now. Just dropped Dad. I've got him going. Go back, fill the seed tender, and wait for the boss man to call me. All right, I am back at the farm now. I'm gonna go ahead and unload this rank tote, and then I'm gonna put another one on. And then after that, I believe Dad'll need it maybe in like an hour. So until then, I might get started over there on the disc. So I guess we'll see how this goes. I got that next tote loaded up, the Golden Harvest variety, and all I gotta do is strap it down and then we are good to go. Well, got a little shop work done today. Finished up the disc, as well as a couple trailers, just went through them, checked lights, brakes, turn signals, things like that. Just kind of got a little prep ready for the busy season. I think that's it for today. Maybe we'll get some rain here. Looks like some thunder clouds brewing over there. It says we're in a tornado warning, but normally that doesn't ever really come true. So hopefully we stay safe, but I guess if not, we'll see what a tornado looks like. I will see you guys in the next video.